I am on a journey.
All we ever have is the present moment, okay?
The spiritual awakening is here.
Rolling!
I scrap when I can, and I kind of just let life take me where it wants to. What this journey has looked like so far for me lately is a heck of a lot of being present and a whole lot more of being unapologetically myself. The middle. So we'll pick up where we left off, April. As you can see, I completed all of my goals as I have pretty much every other month this year. This month it included building a piece of custom furniture, figuring out my TMJ, organizing the side porch, and having a little photo shoot with Barry. As we all know, April is Earth Day, or as I like to refer to it, Earth Month. With that being said, each week I decided to grab at least a piece, a scrap of whatever I consumed, so that way I could really visualize what I consumed just as one person. So as you can see with receipts, that was really abundant, and it kind of showed patterns of where I go all of the time, and it actually also doubled as a finance tracker by highlighting the totals. I started the month and ended the month with a coloring page, just in hopes of all of the flowers that would bloom with the next month. Every week I kind of use the same idea of categorizing my to-do lists into different sections, so that way it's a little bit easier to tackle and manage. Each week had its similarities, but obviously each week had its differences. This page here was only able to be created with a quote that I found a couple weeks before that. And this page I was going to create an angel number reference, but instead of including it in the middle, I decided to include it in the back, and it has yet to be created. But for now, I have found shopping lists of other people. I thought this was funny and pretty important to include because last year in my first living scrapbook, I included the first stimulus check we ever got, and this was also the last stimulus check we received from 2 different presidents, so that's pretty interesting. And yeah, the last coloring page of the month. The back! Besides some new pressed flowers, we also have the feather section growing quite quickly, as well as me gaining quite a bit more insight on astrology and on my TMJ pain. So yeah, me and Barry sit here in the morning and do other things sometimes too, besides chit chat. Sometimes we eat breakfast. Sometimes we don't. Almond joys have nuts. And mounds don't.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Peter Paul almond joys got nuts.
Peter Paul mounds don't. Because sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
Back to the middle. And then obviously the month that we're currently in, May, this month was busy, much more so busy being in the moment and being present and not really worrying about my living scrapbook or documenting things. It was just kind of living very intentionally. So with that being said, I came across a lot of quotes that resonated with me this month. It's like, do not wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Please understand, you are not for everybody. Go where you are welcomed. Stay where you are watered. It's okay to be sad after making the right decision. So it's a bunch of just inspirational things that I come across on Instagram that I screenshot, and then that screenshot, I obviously have nothing to do with it after that point, so I take those and put them in my quote section. This habit tracker, although it's insightful at the end, it wasn't really useful in the midst of the month, but the creativity chart, on the other hand, is something that I will use for different categories besides just creativity, because it enlightens me on I go through these cycles and patterns throughout the month. As mentioned, May was really busy. I officially graduated, walked across the stage, so that was a pretty big moment that required its own section for a journal entry. And me and my sister had a little bit of a photo shoot this week, and I was still kind of on that kick of gathering and using a scrap of each thing I consumed, so that's why this page is pretty abundant. I was still kind of getting out of that habit from April. Each wristband here indicates a different day that I was working on set. This week, along with the following weeks, we're all just very busy. I have been just doing everything in my power to live presently. As you can see, I've also started a garden. And also things are picking up at my other job with the office going to full capacity. I have a lot more scraps from that, and I was just also towards the end of the month realizing how important journal entries are and how much I was lacking them. So I figure going forward, I could just try to include more. And then for the final week of May, it's a little bit more journal intensive. As I've mentioned, that's my goal. I received a postcard from my sister because she's in Provincetown, and that's the beginning of my scrap pals, which we will get into momentarily, just you wait. There's a lot of life happening between these pages. I'd much rather just kind of authentically live my life and genuinely paste these things on a page and then show you after. I'm letting go of my fear of hesitancy and living my life fully, baby. Scrapping. So, share your living scrapbook with me today at Living Scrapbook on Instagram. I'm Curly Headed Red, and I will talk to you soon.